It is being refilled by the present company that is operating now.
You are refilling it now?
Yes.
Where is the example of it?
You can go to that
complementary mining framework to a much more rationally ordered, organized mining.
Yes, they are aggregated.
On stream.
Yes, this is what we do. These are
minerals occur in all the states of Nigeria, in all the local governments.
That's a very powerful analogy.
Yes,
that we had a big job in our hands.
We must increase the level of beneficiation and processing locally.
The quest to grow Nigeria's mining industry goes beyond finding an alternative to oil for revenue generation. The projected impact on the overall economy is enormous, as mining has the capacity to employ much more people and service more industries than the oil sector. Many commercially viable opportunities are available along the mining value chain that will remain untapped if Nigerians fail to key into the paradigm shift that has overtaken the sector. Today on Mining in Nigeria, we take a look at the small-scale gemstone processing industry as a major part of the growing opportunities in the minerals sector. But first, we will take the highlights in the diary of the Federal Minister of Mines and Steel Development. I am Gabriel Ojile. Welcome on board.
Therefore, inaugurate the LOC with the following membership.
As part of efforts to prevent a reoccurrence of lead poisoning in Nigeria and promote safer mining practices, the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, in collaboration with Médecins Sans Frontières, is set to host the second international conference on lead poisoning associated with artisanal and small-scale gold mining in Nigeria. To this end, a local organizing committee has been set up to look into preparations for the event set to hold in June. The committee is co-chaired by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Abdulkadir Moazu, and Country Head of Mission for Médecins Sans Frontières, Philip Aruna.
It has been discovered that
addressing the LOC, Minister of State for Mines and Steel Development, Abubakar Bawa-Buhari, said that the conference has become necessary due to difficulties encountered in trying to curtail the effects of previous incidences of lead poisoning in Zamfara and Niger states.
it has been discovered that recontamination of previously remediated areas is going on at the present. This, coupled with the growing cases of children not responding to treatment, has necessitated the need for workable, safer mining programs to prevent recurrence. It has been demonstrated that given sufficient political will and modest investment, the world's most challenging environmental health crisis can be addressed by adopting proven response protocols to the capabilities of host countries.
Honorable Bawa-Buhari said the conference is expected to come up with workable methods to help prevent future occurrences. He spells out the terms of reference of the committee.
The LOC shall be guided by the following terms of reference. 1. Execute planning, organization and implementation of the conference. 2. We shall have international technical committee to work out the conference content. 3. Form technical subcommittee to develop invitees and timetables to ensure that local, national, international and interdisciplinary perspectives are adequately represented.
In his acceptance speech, head of MSF mission to Nigeria and co-chairman of the LOC, Philip Aruna, highlighted some of the areas of focus for the prevention of lead poisoning.
What we've seen as a strategy forward is really to ensure that we ensure a behavioral change strategy that are based on understanding of incentive structures and health risk perceptions in the community. Technologies that are culturally appropriate and economically feasible for these communities to continue their mining activities. Revision and strengthening of legal frameworks to allow the regularization of artisanal mining. Institutionalizing lead poisoning prevention associated with artisanal gold mining at local, state, and national levels. So to do this, we are sure that one of the important things to ensure is a critical need for multi-sectoral approach to sustainably address lead poisoning in the areas of occupational standard, clinical management and surveillance, long-term care of poisoned children, and pollution monitoring and control.
Other members of the newly inaugurated committee include Project Coordinator of Main Diver Linus Idie, Executive Secretary of Solid Minerals Development Fund Hajia Fatima Shinkafi, Deputy Head of Mission to Nigeria for MSF Dr. Simba Tirima, Lead Conference Coordinator Umar Khan, and representatives drawn from UNIDO, Nigerian Customs Service, and other concerned ministries. There have been outbreaks of lead poisoning in both Zamfara and Niger states between 2010 and 2016, leading to several deaths and injuries, and attracting global health interventions such as the MSF. In sustaining its efforts towards tackling the menace of illegal mining and providing adequate security in mines fields across the country, the Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, has commissioned 50 additional operational vehicles for use by the Surveillance Task Force and Mineral Resources and Environmental Management Committee. The event was attended by industry stakeholders as well as heads of security agencies, including the representatives of the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, and Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Abdullahi Kana Muhammadu. Speaking at the event, Fayemi said, while 40 vehicles will be distributed to members of the task force across the country, Miremco will get an initial 10 vehicles for selected states, with plans to distribute to the other states in due course. He said this would help curtail the threat posed by illegal miners.
And considering the alarming rate illegal mining has posed against the present administration's efforts at diversifying the economy, government is determined to take a coordinated approach to curtail the menace, sanitize the mines field, and position the sector on the path of sustainable development. Hence, the resuscitation of the Special Mines Surveillance Task Force.
The Permanent Secretary, Dr. Abdul Qadir Muazu, in his remarks, recalls that the ministry had, in 2017, commissioned a total of 38 operational vehicles for mines officers across the country, a move that necessitated the inclusion of Miremco in this phase.
Miremco, on the other hand, is a statutory mechanism established by Section 19 of the Nigeria Minerals and Mining Act 2007 for the purpose of promoting synergy among all the three tiers of government towards ensuring sustainable mineral resource development in the country through harmonious relationship between all the stakeholders. For their effective operations and in line with the approved roadmap for the growth and development of the Nigerian mining industry, the ministry is providing resources and logistics support to all state Miremcos. The prohibition of these vehicles, which is the first phase, because only 10 Miremcos will be given vehicles today, and the minister is committed to ensuring that the other states also receive their vehicles in due course.
The vehicles commissioned for Miremco will be distributed to Anambra, Bauchi, Benue, Cross River, Edo, Kaduna, Kano, Ogun, Oshun, and River states. High point of the event was a test drive of one of the vehicles by the minister in company of other dignitaries.
It is nice to know that the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development is not relenting in its efforts to grow the mining industry. Perhaps this is the reason for the growing interest in solid minerals in recent times. On the issues today, we take a look at the opportunities and strides in the gemstones market in Nigeria. Exactly how much recognition is given to the industry and what does it take to set up? Let's find out.
That information on your fingertips.
Sapphire, topaz, amethyst, tourmaline and aquamarine. These are but a few of the gemstones found in Nigeria. Whereas nations like Botswana are thriving on gemstones, the Nigerian economy is yet to benefit from the abundant endowment that nature has blessed the country with. A kilogram of polished sapphire in the gemstone markets can fetch the equivalent of over 200 barrels of oil sold at $50 per barrel. Apart from the obvious gain to the economy, the gemstones industry provides an opportunity for massive job creation as the sector has great need for professional cutters. Many are either not aware of the opportunities or the potentials that abound in the Nigerian gemstones industry. Lotana Amina Egwatu is a young Nigerian entrepreneur driven by passion and an unrelenting determination to carve a niche for herself in the gemstone industry in Nigeria. A certified gemologist, she has steered her way through the storms of business to establish one of the fastest growing gemstone cutting and polishing businesses in Abuja, known as Mina Stones. With over a decade in the industry, and like many other business owners in Nigeria, Lotana Amina Egwatu started small.
I started by just like changing watch straps to gemstones, to making simple jewelry with pearls or other gemstones I found around. I was doing this in school, so from say 2008, it was already a commercial thing for me. I think maybe the focus on gemstones is now because of lack of knowledge, like in-depth knowledge of what gemstones were and lack of access to them, I just used what was available at the time.
For those who would want to venture into the world of gemstones, Lotana says acquiring the knowledge is very important, as well as deciding what kind of gemstones to deal in.
First of all, know what you're getting yourself into. Knowledge. Like, there's no, I mean, I don't know about other, well, I kind of know about other industry, but this industry, if you do not know, you get burnt in such a huge way. So, even if it's just buy books on gems, just read a bit to know. Because I've had cases where people have come to me with stones that they bought for so much money and they ended up being glass. So you actually need to know, if you're going to go into a business like this, you actually need to know what you're getting yourself into. Gain some knowledge on gemology or gemstones, and if it's trading, you want to get some knowledge about what you're getting yourself into. It depends on you in the sense that when people want to go into gemstones, they usually find a focus area. So do I want to go into sapphires? Do I want to go into amethyst? Do I want to go into topaz? Like, find a specific gemstone or area where you can, you know, plug in, or where you want to be, and then start from there. If you're going to focus on something like quartz or amethyst, those gemstones are a lot more cheaper compared to if you want to go into sapphires or tourmalines or emeralds or rubies. So it depends on the person, so you have to decide what you want to do. I'll tell people to start from the quartz topazes, because they're obviously a lot more affordable than some other gemstones.
Today, Lotana has 5 direct employees on her payroll and offer training courses on gemstone processing for individuals of all ages. Lotana is also involved in other aspects of processing along the mining value chain through jewelry making, using luxury metals like gold, silver and platinum.
We work with argentinum.
There are a lot of challenges militating against the growth of gemstone industry in Nigeria. Apart from illegal gemstone mining and the difficulty of raising funds for small-scale mining, there are other challenges.
The structure to things, because now things are done in a very scattered manner. Putting a structure to things, just having a bit of, it should not be, because right now the mining is just going on first of all, we need to know where are the gemstone deposits in the country. Let's catalog some of these stones. Let's have proper documentation. And then if we're not capable, let's bring in technical partners. Let's have reasonable agreements and have these people develop the mines. Because the way it's happening now, it's the artisanal mining, which is actually still acceptable. But the way it's happening is just done, it's almost like people are going in, carrying the stones, smuggling them out. It's so scattered and it's so unrecorded. So we actually need to do a lot in that aspect. Yeah.
The Buy Made in Nigeria campaign of this administration, however, is having a positive effect on the budding Nigerian gemstones industry, as small Nigerians who would rather go abroad to buy their jewelry are now looking inwards.
Thankfully, people are starting to get it. So I think it's also the fact that the economy is really hard, because that actually also helps our businesses in a way, because you find that people are not traveling like as usual to buy jewelry from Dubai and all these places. I mean, I got more orders for things like wedding rings and things like that I normally would, this thing is just coming. So things are happening, right? There's some sort of shift. People are now understanding, okay, I can actually get this thing from Nigeria, and it's the same thing, maybe even better.
The African Gemstones and Jewelry Exhibition and Seminar was an event that brought together players in the industry, not just to create awareness, but to begin to put a proper structure in place for the gemstones industry to thrive. Gemstone mining and processing is just one of the many opportunities within the solid mineral sector that ordinary Nigerians can tap into and make a living for themselves. From actual extraction of minerals to trading, the mining industry is a bundle of benefits. Like the Minister of Mines and Steel Development will always say, the goal is to develop the sector towards shared mining prosperity for all Nigerians.
As the major players continue to break grounds within the Nigerian mining ecosystem, there is room for small-scale players and artisans to thrive. In fact, it is believed that the small players will continue to drive the growth of the sector now and in the future. In our stakeholder segment, we look at the mines police and just how well they are faring in securing Nigeria's mines fields.
Our core mandate is to develop their capacity.
So I think we are ready to work with the ministry.
Transparency and accountability is being brought into mining.
This is one of the ways we can increase the non-oil exports revenues.
The mandate of the mines police is, like I've said, to make sure there is enough security on the field, because the federal government now is laying more emphasis on diversification of economy, to shift emphasis on petroleum. We have so many minerals scattered everywhere in this country, but we probably have some prospective investors that want to come in and do business with us. But if the areas are not secured, they will not be able to come. So our mandate is to make sure the areas are very, very secured. And the legal miners, we work in partnership with the ministry. They identify them. We make sure they get rid of them, or those people that have no license to mine or to work with the ministry. If we have to carry out operations outside the states, anywhere in the country, we are now, IG has approved, we should meet the Commissioner of Police of such a state. So they will now give us the manpower we need to effectively work with the staff of the ministry in that state. So anytime, if it takes us 1 week, 2 weeks, the Commissioner of Police will give us enough personnel to work with. At the end of our assignment, we can now come back to headquarters. The staff of the ministry will now go back to their office. If again we need to go to another state, we move to another state with our staff here and the staff of the ministry. If it is River State, for instance, if we go there, policemen, they are there already. It's a question of contacting the Commissioner of Police, and they will give us the number of men we need to work with us for the interim. Apart from Nigerian Police Force, we equally have the Mines Surveillance Task Force. The task force comprises of other agencies and that are invited by the ministry. So that one is domiciled in with the director of mines. So the task force, we have the police there, we have the civil defense, we have the SSS, they are there, so many departments. So it depends on area we want to go. So it's so wide that we accommodate so many other services and agencies. So anytime we want to go and do and carry out our assignment, we go out and do it jointly together.
Mines police existed before independence when Nigeria had a robust mining climate. The fact that they are back signals the renewed focus on the mining sector. We can only say it's about time that happens. Let's take highlights of happenings across the mining world. An independent commodities research company, the CPM Gold Yearbook, has said that bullion investors, miners and makers of coins will help drive the 5th straight annual increase in total global gold investment in 2018. This is amidst fears that the bubbling U.S. economic expansion will end in a 2019 recession. CPM forecast net gold investment at 20.3 million ounces during 2018, a 6.6% rise from the 19.1 million ounces in 2017 and the highest increase since 2016 when it rose 23.9%. Botswana's Debswana Diamond Mining has announced an 11% rise in production, recording a 3-year high in 2017. It says it is expecting further growth this year due to lower taxes in the US, which has left consumers with more money to buy luxury goods. Debswana is a joint venture between the Bears and South Africa's government. Annual production for Debswana rose to 22.2 million carats last year. Mining giant Rio Tinto has agreed to sell the Kestrel coal mine in Australia to private equity manager EMR Capital, an Indonesian coal company, Adaro Energy, in a deal worth $2.25 billion. Rio Tinto is the first major miner to exit the coal industry, having sold its other coal mining interests. Rio Tinto has said that the decision to exit the coal sector is so that it could focus on better investment opportunities in iron ore, copper, aluminium and bauxite. London-listed natural resources company Vedanta has announced that it is shutting its copper smelting operations in the south of India for a 15-day planned maintenance. The shutdown, originally scheduled for April, comes amidst media reports of massive protests around the smelter and even in front of the CEO's residence in London. Demonstrators disapprove of Vedanta's copper plant, saying it is a major source of pollution and a risk to fisheries. Vedanta, however, says the group is fully compliant with all applicable environment regulations. Democratic Republic of Congo's mines minister rejected a proposal by mining companies to soften some provisions in a new mining code in exchange for higher royalties. Mining companies say that they will be willing to pay the government more to produce cobalt, gold, copper and other minerals if the government agreed to respect 10-year exemptions to changes to the fiscal and customs regimes for existing projects and cancel certain taxes. The government of Congo has however said that the taxation as laid out in the new mining code signed into law in March this year is untouchable. So much is happening as the wind of change continues to blow through the solid mineral sector. From proactive policies to positive transformation, the tangibles are clear for all to see. And you can simply tell by the renewed vigor within the sector. One step at a time, Nigeria is growing to become a recognized mining destination in the world. See you same time next week as we bring you another enlightening edition of Mining in Nigeria.